It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to March the 21st of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were in Buffalo to take on the Sabres, and John Hines deploys his lines in the following way. Tomasino, Glass, and Duchesne make up your first line. Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista make up your second line. Trenton, Sissons, and Smith. Afanaseyev, Jankowski, and Asplund make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairings, McDonough back in the lineup, and that is great news for the Nashville Predators' thin defensive core. Fabro also a part of the first D pair. Barry and Gross, Luzon, and Foote make up the rest of your defensive pairings, and UC Saros gets the starting net against the Buffalo Sabres. 3:11 into the first period. It's Craig Anderson coming up with the first save of the game. That's on Luke Evangelista, plus Tommy Novak's follow-up. Again, that was the first shot on goal. It took over 3 minutes to kind of get through the feeling out process. 4:29 in the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Quinn's long shot. 4:59. McDonough's off the box. 2 minutes for delay of game. Knocked the puck out of midair and directly over the glass into the crowd. That is a penalty. Saros comes up with a save on Skinner during the penalty kill. Nashville Predators strong overall while shorthanded. 9:14 of the first period. Anderson comes up with a save on Novak at close range, but 11:45. Tomasino's fourth goal of the season gets the Nashville Predators on the board. It's 1-0 in favor of the Preds over the Buffalo Sabres. It was Matt Duchene's stop that opened up the passing lane, and the knuckler from the circle of Tomasino gets into the net past Anderson. Again, Tomasino's fourth goal of the season gives the Preds a 1-0 lead in Buffalo. 14:42 of the first period. Thompson off to the box. 2 minutes for holding. Anderson would come up with a save on Luke Evangelista's deflection at the top of the crease. Then Craig Anderson would come up with another save on Luke Evangelista. 18:27 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Thompson at close range. 18:43. Matt Duchene scores his 20th goal of the season. It was with Glass down behind the net that Tomasino makes a pass over to Duchene, and Duchene puts the puck into the back of the net. Scary situation to see Glass down for as long as he was. Nashville Predators take 2-0 lead. Glass would be helped to the bench, but would return shortly after. And we end the first period right here with the Nashville Predators leading 2-0, out shooting the Buffalo Sabres 12-5. 51 seconds into the second period on the clean sheet of ice. It's Saros. He comes with a save on Olofsson's on the breakaway. 1:14 and Jankowski off the box. 2 minutes for hooking an outstanding PK by the Nashville Predators. But shortly after that PK wraps up, 3:36, Kuznetsov scores his 27th goal of the season, putting Buffalo on the board. It was Saros coming up with a save on Peterka's first shot, but the rebound is put back and into the net. Nashville now holds a 2-1 lead in Buffalo, but as soon as I can finish writing down that note, we hit the 4-minute mark, so just 24 seconds later, that means I write pretty quick. Tommy Novak's 14th goal of the season also comes off of a breakaway sprung by Evangelista's touch pass that gives the Nashville Predators a 3-1 lead, so we get back their 2-goal lead immediately. It was Tommy Novak's 14th goal of the season. At 4:02 of the second period, Thompson and Sherwood off the box, 5 minutes each. Sherwood challenging Thompson for the earlier hit in the game on Glass. Fight didn't last very long, but it certainly got the message across. 4:57 of the second period, Matt Duchene appears to score a goal right here. As a matter of fact, he does put the puck in the net, but is challenged for offsides. There is no goal. There's simply too much else going on this period to spend much time on that, but the play was ruled correctly. It was offsides. 6:19 of the second period, Anderson is off to the box. No, he's not off to the box, but he gets a penalty, 2 minutes for tripping. One of the players for the Sabres would serve his minor penalty. Saros, though, has to come up with the shorthanded save on Tuck after a turnover. The rebound poke really went a long way to helping the Nashville Predators get out of trouble in this situation. Nashville Predators do absolutely nothing on their power play. 9:21, though, after the power play, Luke Evangelista's fourth goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 4-1 lead. He hits the flamingo pose and the wrist shot off of the rush. Tommy Novak's the one who set the play up, and by the flamingo pose, one of my all-time favorites, Mark Messier. Before that, Mike Gartner used to always kick that leg up in the air just before firing that wrist shot. It's the flamingo pose, and I absolutely love seeing it. The cult of Evangelista continues to grow. 4-1 in favor of the Preds, and then just seconds later, 10:01 of the second period, it's Luke Evangelista again, now his 5th goal of the season, his 2nd goal of the period, his 2nd goal in the last minute. It's a backhand on the breakaway. He handled the bouncing pass from Sherwood. This showed some high-level focus and hands on this play right here by Luke Evangelista, giving the Nashville Predators a 5-1 lead on the breakaway. 12:19 of the second period, you see Saros comes with a save on Skinner on the 2-0, almost a 3-0 after a turnover in the neutral zone. They were in clean. UC Saros coming in with a massive save right here. 14:11 of the second. Saros comes with a save on Dahlin's long shot. 15:52. McDonough's 2nd goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 6-1 lead over the Buffalo Sabres. There was nothing fancy or spectacular spectacular about it, other than the fact that it ended up in the back of the net. That's always fancy and spectacular at the NHL level. It was a wrist shot through traffic from the circle, but again, a rather pedestrian goal considering the high skill of the league. That was it for Anderson right there. The coaching staff didn't need to see anymore. 14 out of 20. Luukkonen is in relief. 16:46 of the third period. Now it's Predators leading 6-1. It's Dante Fabro off the box, 2 minutes for hooking. Colton Sissons immediately then off the box, 2 minutes for throwing equipment. This leads to a 5-on-3 for 144, but let me slow down and back up for a minute. UC Saros lost his stick immediately at the beginning of the penalty kill, and Sissons, just reacting, tried to play the stick with his stick back to UC Saros. That, of course, is illegal in the NHL. That is a 2-minute penalty. So again, that was called correctly, just in case you aren't familiar with that. We don't see penalties for throwing equipment very often. So for the Nashville Predators, they find themselves shorthanded, 5-on-3. Fabro, Sissons both in the box. It's 1:44 off of 5-on-3, but it's only going to take seconds for Thompson to score his 43rd. It was an absolute bomb of a one-timer, making the game now 6-2. That means we're now at a 5-on-4 manpower situation in favor of Buffalo. Saros comes up with a save on Tuck. The Preds are able to survive. 19:52 with a second. Saros comes up with a glove save on Krebs after a turnover. We hit the end of the second period. Nashville out shooting Buffalo 20-19, leading the game though 6-2, an incredibly high event second period in Buffalo. We're into the third period now. 1:28 in. Saros comes up with a save on Jost from the high slot. 3 minutes in. Luukkonen comes up with a save on Evangelista at 4:31. Jokiharju is off the box 2 minutes, and then we're going to see Luukkonen come up with a save on Tomasino, and then Luukkonen coming up with a save on Trennan right there as the power play is expiring. We flip it over to the back of the sheet to complete the third period. I told you, high event game in Buffalo, at least the second period and beyond. At 7:45 of the third period, it's Skinner coming up with his 30th goal of the season. It was an absolute pass and clearing attempt that was intercepted and then directed through the scramble and into the net. Nashville now leads 6-3, but Buffalo is still hanging around. 8:31 of the third period. Saros comes up with a save on Cousins. 13:38. Luukkonen comes up with a save on Tomasino off of the rush. 16:52. We go to the empty net scenario, and Matt Duchene's cashing in from the red line for his 21st goal of the season. Empty net goal just beyond the red line puts this game away for the Nashville Predators. 7-3 is your final. So the Preds give up 7 at MSG, going to Buffalo and score 7, and they split the 2-game road trip now on their way back to Nashville for a significant weekend of hockey. The shots on goal in this game end up being in favor of the Buffalo Sabres, 31-27, but the Nashville Predators did exactly what they had to do. They got out to the lead in this game, and then they just kept expanding that lead throughout the game. Considering what we saw at Madison Square Garden the other day, a victory would have been enough, but to come out in a convincing fashion and to win the way the Nashville Predators did tonight, this was very important. And the Nashville Predators are still realistically alive in the wild card race in the Western Conference. So good job picking up the 2 points, but it was way more important than that to see the commitment to defense, the commitment to detail in the game tonight, and the getting to the hard areas and finishing, just the finishes on some of these plays. The Nashville Predators, truly a great performance against the Buffalo Sabres, a team that is in exactly the same position as they are over in the Eastern Conference, trying to keep their playoff hopes and their season alive and continuing to play meaningful hockey with a fairly young roster. But there's some truly, truly talented players on the Buffalo Sabres. They're going to be a tough out in the Eastern Conference in the next couple of years if they continue on the trajectory upwards that they're currently on. They don't seem to quite be there yet, and Craig Anderson, he's not really a full-time goaltender anymore in the NHL. Getting a spot start tonight, just could not get anything done against the Nashville Predators. Only 14 out of 20 before getting pulled. UC Saros comes up with the victory. Nashville Predators get a victory. They'll head back to Nashville now to face off against the Seattle Kraken 2 times before they face off against the Maple Leafs. Don't forget, home base freakout coming up Friday. So we've got Thursday, Nashville versus Seattle. Friday, home base freakout. We've got Saturday, Nashville versus Seattle, plus the Pekka Rinne statue unveiling. Sunday, Nashville Predators versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's going to be one hell of a hockey weekend. We've got the Renegades of Puck all in the trenches coming up next, and we got full analysis coming up on this game and everything going on with the playoff races right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.